think end-of-life care is where you meet humanity raw in tooth and claw. You know, there is no side, there is nothing else other than the reality of one's mortality or the reality of a family member's mortality, and therefore the way people engage with you is full on, it's angry, or it's super happy if they've had a good experience, they're moved.
It's different to think about person-centred care at end of life, because the fact of the matter is, actually the only thing that matters is the experience at the end of life. You're not focusing on health outcomes, you're focusing on making it as great as it can be for the family and the person. So in a way it frees you up, which is very good.
Clinicians do need to be brave about engaging with patients and engaging them in a way that is not tokenistic, that doesn't just invite 4 or 5 people to a meeting, that allows people to engage in many different ways, whether that is by texting, emailing, dropping a slip in at the surgery, turning to a meeting if they want to, but allows people the avenue to contribute in the way that they want to.
I think the expectation before experience-led commissioning was that there would be a hospice within Sandwell. And I think the experience-led commissioning has allowed people to think about what's actually needed, and what they really want is hospice type care and a virtual hospice. So it's shifted away from the focus on a physical building, and that's quite a change really.
We deliver redesign in primary healthcare, so we change the way we work, we make practices fit for purpose, we work with patients to put them at the centre of the design process, and we have them working concurrently with us in the way we deliver anything.
For End of Life in Sandwell there were 3 events where there was wide participation. There were provider organisations, hospices, other third sector, as well as users and carers invited to describe the services that they wanted, and also to describe the services they'd received, so you could see the difference between the two.
What we hoped to do was to devise care that once it had been established that a patient was at the end of their life, within the last year of their life, that they would then have access to services that would ensure that that end to their life was made comfortable, was made emotionally secure for them and for their relatives, and would meet with their needs. But we could only devise a service that would meet with their needs by going to the patients and the carers themselves.
People who would perhaps have been admitted to hospital and die in hospital, if they live alone, if their home environment just isn't suitable for them to die there, then we've got, we will have eventually 9 bungalow beds. We're starting off with 3 and then we're building up to the 9 to see how it's a pilot. We know it will be evaluated, but we're hoping it will actually allow those people who couldn't die at home for one reason or another to die in a homely type environment that's different to a hospice, but you know it provides hopefully a good death for them.
Just because it's end of life, if you like, doesn't mean we should care more about it. We should always care about the experience, because the thing that leaves patients feeling traumatised is never their clinical care, or very rarely it's the way they get treated by the system and by people. And even if you do the best clinical care in the world, if you're not delivering a good experience, then you know you're not doing the best job you can for the people that you're caring for. It doesn't matter whether you're commissioning or decommissioning, you should still take people with you, because if you will never get the best answer until you've used the wisdom of crowds to help you to answer the question.
We need to actually explain to patients that they are people and they deserve to be involved in their care. I know a lot of people that go to the doctors and they will walk out accepting what they've been told, and then they will say, I wish I'd have asked him or her that. And I say to them, well, why didn't you? Oh, well, he was busy and he didn't know, all that sort of stuff. And I say, oh, no, it's your health, you know, you he's looking after. Why didn't you ask him? I didn't think it was right. People need to know it's right.
The way that it works is that because we've got this fantastic, rich set of research to work with, we can just focus on working with local people, on checking that this is how it is for them as well, but then spending most of our time focusing on redesigning the experience that services are going to deliver for them.
As part of the programme that we've pulled together, we felt it was crucial that all clinicians who are going to be involved with patients at the end of life had training in dealing not only with breaking difficult news, but with the patient's emotive responses.
We also have worked very closely with a whole range of community groups within Sandwell to make sure that all people who need to have a voice have a voice. But I wouldn't say that even so we've been as good as we could be at that. We've got lots of room for improvement, which is why we're now looking at developing tools for people who are visually and hearing impaired so they can get involved, because they weren't involved in our strategy development. And they very rarely are actually asked their view about anything other than, you know, visual and hearing impairment services. But they do actually have end-of-life experiences as well. People
have to understand that when you become towards the end of life, whether it's a terminal illness or old age or whatever it is, you need to be given the opportunity to talk about it and decide the way that you're going to go.